For the 16th year, the streets of Mobile are host to the world's best runners and thousands of you from across the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the 1993 Azalea Trail Run, brought to you in part by your local Dodge dealer, Burger King, where you can have it your way, and Mobile Gas. And now here's Action News 10 Sports Director Andrew Stockey.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Channel 10's exclusive coverage of the 1993 Azalea Trail Run. I'm Andrew Stockey. I'll be your host for all the festivities. Joining me, Channel 10 racing guru Steve Schoenwald. Steve, good to have you once again. Let's talk about the weather, the temperature. A little chilly this morning and the humidity a little bit higher than we expected.
Well, for your everyday runner, I think the humidity may affect, but for the elite athlete, it's a great day for a race.
Let's take a look now at the individual categories. First, the men's open, really a two-country race, Kenya against Mexico.
Well, I look for the Kenyans possibly to take it out and the Mexicans to try to hang on early. If it's a slow pace, it'll play into the Mexicans' favors. But we have William Koech from Kenya, who I feel is the favorite. He got second at Crescent City Classic. He's an Olympian from Barcelona with the Kenyan team, and he got a runner-up position here last year. He's ready to run. He's been antsy all week. Look also for Ibrahim Kanuthi, who was second in the world in 91 in the 5,000, 13:09, outside shot to win this thing.
A lot of great talent in the women's open internationally, but we have a great local runner who is among the seeded runners to watch, Julie Jasker.
Well, she's former Rice All-American, and she should place in the top 10 here, and of course locally there's nobody that can really run with her.
Okay, the men's masters field, Manuel Vera, the favorite. He will not take part due to a medical emergency in his family. That makes Joseph Zhao of Kenya the favorite coming in.
He's #1 in the world, and there's no doubt that he has to be the favorite for this. Dominga Tibazaway is here, and he should give him some trouble early on.
Okay, the international field for the women's open, we've got really an all-USA battle here. The 1 and 2 runners in the world taking part.
Nancy Grayson, of course, is #1 in the world, and she's going to be tough to beat, but Carol McClatchy out of Houston, who got first over at the Crescent City Classic, is going to give her a handful today.
Let's look at the local men. Todd Bunnell, who won the Spring Fever Chase last week, the favorite coming in, but there was a late ad last night, somebody that didn't surprise us at all, Mike Plum taking part once again.
Oh, well, Mike's always a danger in any race he's in, and of course he's a many-time winner here, but don't forget Bruce Goldsmith, former coach at South Alabama. He's a former Big 8 all-conference runner, and he should give both of them trouble.
Now, last year we had nothing but record times. Do we expect to see that again this year? Are we going to have that kind of pace?
Well, you know, it just depends on how the first mile goes. You know, you can always say the weather's perfect and all for a record, and it just, you know, depends on the strategy of the race and how it unfolds. I look for the first mile, though, to go out fast because it's a good day to do it. The weather's cool, humidity's up, but it shouldn't affect the elite runners, again, as much as the everyday runner.
Let's move to the starting line for the beginning of the wheelchair race. Laverne Achenbach of Birmingham is the favored male. He'll be going for an unprecedented 4th Azalea Trail Run wheelchair title. Well, with the wheelchair race in full swing, we'll return with the start of the 10K race when Channel 10's coverage of the 93 Azalea Trail Run continues. As the wheelchair racers make their way through the early portion of the course, we're about ready to begin the 10K portion of the 1993 Azalea Trail Run. And there's the gun, and we are underway. The 16th Azalea Trail Run. Already you see the Kenyans breaking off into a pack of their own. I see William Koech already sprinting out ahead. He is #1. Also, I think I see, I believe that's Simon Peter.
Simon Peter, and he ran a nice race over at Crescent City last week, and they look like they're taking it out very fast. This is the type of pace that was set last week at Crescent City Classic, and I'll tell you what, anybody running from behind is going to have trouble catching up to him.
In talking with a lot of the racers during the week, I was told that you know, the Kenyans, even though they're very quiet and very, very shy, they have a very, almost cunning and a very a style in which they want to come out, they want to take charge very early and get rid of everyone else, as you said before.
Well, it's much like a team in other sports coming out and really bringing the ball up court or setting the tempo early in any type of team game. And the Kenyans usually run a type of team game where they like to go out and run hard in the beginning.
And I think they're getting away from that team concept, because William Koech is really getting away from the pack, staying at pace. He's at least 5 or 6 yards ahead of Ibrahim Kanuthia.
Yeah, he is really setting a torrid pace.
As we speed up and pass the canyon, why don't we slow things down for a minute and check with Amy Greer, who's found some folks who are taking this day at their own pace. Amy?
Thanks, Andrew. With all the world-class runners in town, somebody has to bring up the rear. That's where the walkers come in.
Just enjoying it. Just to have a good time.
Is that the only way you could finish?
Yes, definitely. The only way I could finish.
To walk.
To walk.
Hundreds of folks brought their friends or families to walk the 10K, a way to stay with the pack at a pace you can live with. The Griggs made it a family affair.
The beautiful day, the fresh air, the city of Mobile. We love it.
You make it a whole family a thing.
That's right. We hope to make it to the end. If not, it's an adventure, right?
That's right.
Some began with the best of intentions, running, then walking, then running again when they saw our cameras. They say walking can be as much of a workout as running, so the important thing is just finishing. Andrew?
We joined the race on Old Government, and William Koech is beginning to make a little bit of a move, widening his lead just a little bit. He had been about a 10-yard lead for most of Government Street. Now in Old Government, it's maybe about 11 or 12.
I'm awful surprised that the 4 runners behind have not tried to play catch-up yet a little bit, working more with each other than against each other. I'll tell you one thing, Andrew, this is reminiscent of last year. The runners behind the gang of 4, as I call them, are falling out of sight, and quickly the gang of 4 is starting to fall back too. William is making a move on this street, and he's trying to set another statement that, hey, you better come after me now or it's all over, guys.
William being cheered by the Mobilians lining the streets of Fulton.
We're coming up to the 3-mile mark now, so we should be able to get a judge of what kind of pace he's running on.
Okay, our coverage of the 1993 Azalea Trail Run continues right after this. The Azalea Trail Run has now reached Dolphin Street.
Okay, watch William Koech as he's come around the corner now. We will be able to find out how much of a lead he has on these folks. He has about a 6-second lead now on the pack, of which is becoming quickly 3. Salvador Garcia is trying to move back up, but he's falling quickly behind.
You're looking at Dolphin Street and William Koech, who is the leader now, and his lead is now more than, I would say, 10 seconds.
Yeah, he's about up to that point, and as you can see, Salvador Garcia's dropped off the pace. Matthew Matsuarta is still trying to hang in there with the other 2, and William looks smooth.
Chris Coraggio, meantime, has moved to the finish line where the wheelchair racers are coming in. Let's go to Chris Coraggio.
The wheelchair division race always kicks things off here at the ATR, and this morning, a few minutes before 8 a.m., 15 participants got this event underway. The racers said the conditions were ideal, and down the stretch, a familiar name, Laverne Achenbach out of Birmingham, who had won this race 3 times previously, set a new course record, 22 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, this one's real good. I mean, a lot of years older than I was in the early days, and this is a new course record, so, you know, which I was trying to go for anyway today.
Andrew, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. We join the men's open where William Koech is really turning this into a one-man show and looking to set a record time as we approach the 4-mile mark.
Well, Andrew, he's got a 10-second gap on the pack of 2, and Ibrahim Kanuthia is in second right now, and they're they're really starting to fall back out of our sight. This is turning into what happened last year. And right now, really, the race is over unless William Coach falls apart. Of course, William ran in Barcelona and is a Kenyan Olympian, and he has all that experience behind him. And he's looking very smooth right now.
Okay, Ibrahim Kanuthia is second. Andres Espinosa third. Matthew Matsuwarta fourth. And Salvador Garcia has really dropped off the pace into fifth. 22:29 was the split time. If
he's opened up about a 20-yard gap on the rest of the field, and he's continuing to pull away.
Okay, if you're wondering about the record time for this one, it was turned in last year by William Segui, Coach's fellow countryman. It was 27:45. What kind of shot does he have at the all-time mark?
He'll have to really turn it down a notch. It's going to be tough now because he's running by himself. I think basically, he knows he's got the race won. Whether he turns it up that other notch, again, we'll have to wait and see.
As we prepare to turn off Broad and onto Canal Street, we'll be back with more of the 93 Azalea Trail Run right after this. Our coverage continues on Canal Street. William Coach, number 1, is the man on your screen, and he has got a big smile on his face because he knows he's got this race, and I think right now he's pushing himself for a personal best and maybe, just maybe, an ATR record, but he's really going to have to push it, Steve, if he's going to make that.
Well, Andrew, it's tough out here being by yourself, and this is a pretty long straight, too. He knows he has the race won. Depends how motivated he is, I guess, to try to really push it in or just, run for the win.
Steve, when you talk about running on Canal, you had a few hints for runners, things they need to focus on, because this can be a really tough stretch of road.
Well, yeah, you don't want to look all the way down the end of the street because it can really psych you out because the people look so small down the end of the street. With William, though, he's basically concentrating and focusing in his own mind what to do, and he's probably focusing in on the trucks, just using it as a focal point. Here comes William Coach turning on Claiborne Street now towards the finish.
He can see the finish line. He's being pulled towards the men's lane. We are in the home stretch. William Coach, unless something incredible happens, will win the 1993 Azalea Trail Run.
With about 300 yards to go, he's at about 27:20, so it's going to be very close to break 28.
And he's getting a great hand from the crowd here they realize what an effort William has put in throughout this race, making it his own. Ibrahim Kanuthia is just making the turn onto Claiborne in second place. But William Coach will be your winner of the 1993 Azalea Trail Run. He's just going to be over 28 minutes. 28:09 or 8:07, excuse me, the unofficial time. William Coach, the winner of the 1993 Azalea Trail Run. Well, Chris Caraggio is down in victory lane with William Coach, who has turned in a remarkable performance. Let's throw it down to Chris and get a word from the winner.
Tell me about the race. Well, how was it?
The race was very quite nice for me because when I ran, I started to go, so I'm very happy with that.
And the first woman to cross the finish line is Wilma van Ona of the Netherlands.
Wilma, tell me about the race. You win the women's open division. You have to be very happy. How were the conditions out here?
Perfect run. No wind, no humidity. Oh yeah, it went good. I didn't know I could run this fast because I'm training for the marathon, but I'm very happy. She led, well, we ran together after 5 kilometers, after 3 miles.
On to the local races, and for the 8th time in 9 years, Mike Plum took the men's division. Meantime, Julie Jiskra, as you see here, is crossing the finish line to take the local women's title.
Well, congratulations to you. Tell me about the conditions today. How'd it go?
Oh, the course conditions were good, flat and fast. The weather was great. Couldn't ask for better.
How do you feel about this version? You've done this a lot. You were kind of out of the limelight. Everyone's asking, "Where's Mike? What's Mike doing?" And then you come in and do this.
You know, I've been busy with school the last since January, and school just I was doing my student teaching, so I was in the classroom from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then going to work at night, so I really just didn't have a whole lot of time.
Coming up next, we'll have today's other run. That's when Channel 10's Azalea Trail Run coverage continues right after this.
Let me know when you run out, Jeff.
Here at the finish line, the 10K run is winding down, but the fun run's just getting underway. Amy Greer has that story.
Thanks, Andrew. Not everybody comes to win the 10K. The McMillans understand the importance of just being a part of it all. That's why they were one of hundreds of families to take part in the 2-mile fun run. The Petaway boys are learning an early lesson about staying in shape.
They love running.
They're learning young.
Yeah.
You gonna win this thing?
They might. I'm not. Go!
Thousands hit the streets for the 2K, a mad dash for some of the kids competing for their schools, a more leisurely pace for others. Mike and Brenda Brown are expecting, so this was their baby's first trail run.
We didn't want to miss any of the race.
So this is the baby's first trail run?
Yes.
Next year we go-kart.
Andrew, back to you.
Welcome to the finish line from the 16th Azalea Trail Run. Back with Steve Schoenwald. I'm Andrew Stockey. And Steve, really a one-man race today, but what an effort it was.
Oh, it was a tremendous effort by William Coach to go out there and really run from gun to tape almost by himself.
Was it surprising to you that he got out to such a great start and then just kept pulling away and no one was able to catch up with him?
I'll tell you the truth, Andrew, no. I kind of felt it would go like this all week. I just had that feeling just by the way he was carrying himself and the way he was focusing.
Now, there was another storyline today. It was Mike Plum, who signed up at the last minute like he always does, and then won the race, being Todd Bunnell, the man we had favored in profile all week long.
Well, you know, I think Mike was paying him back from the New Year's Eve run where Todd outkicked Mike in that race, and Mike was trying to be a mystery man all week, and it paid off to his credit.
Were there any other surprises that you saw out there? Obviously, Joseph Zhao not winning the men's Masters field, maybe a little bit of a surprise.
Well, not really, even though I picked Joseph. I thought he might be able to run well despite the injury he's had. He's had sort of like a sciatic hamstring type injury, and they're very painful to run through, and maybe this cooler weather aggravated it a little bit more.
But once again, a great turnout, and of course your winner, William Coach. For Steve Schoenwald, I'm Andrew Stockey. As we leave you, take a look at some of the pictures from this year's Azalea Trail Run and see if you see yourself in some of those, and we'll see you later.
The 16th annual Azalea Trail Run was brought to you in part by Mobile Gas, Burger King, and your local Dodge dealers. The natural gas-powered vehicle used by Action News 10 was provided by McConnell Automotive.